There is always a time to look within. There is always a time to look in ourselves. There is always a time to reflect on what we have done, what we have achieved. There is always a time to look back to our own self, our own soul, and ask certain fundamental questions. Today's discussion, I won't say it is a little bit philosophical, but yes, it is a journey of a teacher's own quest. We call it Time to Look Within, a teacher's reflective journey. Joining with us from Asian College of Teachers, Jhumur Chattopadhyay, although she is globally known to be June, and I would take the honor and pleasure to invite her to our Asian College of Teachers YouTube exclusive show. June has been an academic professional for more than 14 years, extensively working in New Zealand, India, Thailand, and various other countries. She is experienced not only with children but also working with adults, and being a certified NLP practitioner. She has been dealing not only as a global educator but educating and enlightening our teacher's own self and reflecting on the journey what a student would, and thereby find himself or herself in a position which is not only an educator as a teacher, but somebody who is a torchbearer to further education and opening up certain areas into teaching. She is also certified, TESOL certified from the Director of Board of Teachers of TESOL Canada, and her goal is to develop management of education training, personal development. I won't take much time because the list is quite long. Let me take the honor and pleasure to invite June ma'am directly to our YouTube live session. Very good afternoon, and welcome, June, to our special live show, Teacher's Journey, A Time to Look Within.
Thank you so much, Shauna. Good afternoon. Very good afternoon, everybody. And this is really a big honor for me that I've been given an opportunity from Asian College of Teachers to be present in the show and to perhaps, as you said, the torchbearer. I hope I'm able to show some light to my audience at the moment, just like how life has shown me light. And I'll be more than happy to share the same light, or perhaps more, if possible, in this session. Thank you, Shauna, once again.
So, so to start with today's session, as the topic is something different, so obviously we won't be going with the usual discussion. My first question to you, June, would be that we find there is a difference in terms of teaching profession. What the teachers used to happen earlier, now the teaching profession is quite different today. So I would like to ask you that if you can throw some light upon why is the teaching profession different today, and what are the key points that this difference has come into?
Okay, so you are telling me time to put my torch on, as you wanted me to throw some light on it. Right, absolutely, Shauna. You're very on spot. Teaching is no more the same what it used to be like 20, 30, 40 years back, right? Just walking into the classroom, asking the students to open the textbook and, okay, this is what we're going to do. Can you just read that passage? You read that passage. Let's do some exercises, teacher writing on the board, least bothered what's happening at the back of her. And then, okay, so prepare for the text. No, that's no more today. Teaching is a full-time job now, let me tell you. I would like to emphasize on the word, it's a full-time profession. Why it's full-time profession? It's not that you have to be in the classroom for 24/7. It's not that, but it's a lot more in the head. Okay, so apart from just delivering a curriculum, it is very important to know your student. Who are your audience? Who are you catering to? Okay, and when I say you have to know your learners, that means while you're imparting a certain knowledge that you're designated to, you also have to motivate, or I would say motivation is a short-term thing. You need to inspire the learners. Inspiration goes a long way. Motivation is very short-term. I might feel motivated now, and the very next day I may not be motivated anymore. Okay, so you have to offer the mentorship throughout. It's a journey. There is no timeline that, okay, I've spoken to this student, so my job is done. No, that's not the case. So it's a mentorship. Inspiring learners, mentorship, I would say, kind of goes hand in hand. And you need to generate the curiosity in the classroom. Also, when I'm delivering a training, I tell my trainees, you need to tell your learners, why are they here? Why are you even dealing with this topic? The why is very important. The day we stop questioning why, we stop learning. So nurturing, okay, the curiosity and creating an environment, an overall environment which is very meaningful, conducive. The learners want to be a part of that. Okay, so you can see there are already so many task lists. Okay, it's not
Absolutely.
evaluation or just assessment. That's an integral part, but that's just a small part, right? So yes, if you want to really want to bring in a meaningful change through education, then this is the profession for you. But if you're just looking for
Absolutely.
imparting the knowledge and yeah, I finished my syllabus, my curriculum is done, doesn't matter how many have failed or passed in my class, that's not my lookout, then I'm sorry, this is not the profession.
So it
So I've
actually
done.
remembers me, it reminds me, I was looking, watching a TED talk when somebody was telling a lady, probably coming from a very well-known profession. So she was telling that whenever, nowadays
Mhm.
people ask that, pursue your passion. So what is your passion? If you don't pursue your passion, then what is your passion that you pursue as a job? But that lady pointed out what exactly you told, that do not pursue your passion, because passion is something momentary. Passion is a fleeting moment which will just pass out. So if you pursue your passion today, your passion is maybe eating some kind of a Chinese dish which might vanish in the next moment, because passion keeps on changing. So a very important point, thank you for saying that it is not because of passion. So three important points for those who are watching today's video. Number one, that what June ma'am told is that remember,
Tomorrow it
teaching is a
might be
full-time
something
profession.
else.
Yeah, it is a full-time profession, number one, and most importantly is that whether you have inspired the learners or you have just done your task. So these are the key points which you should mention, that why is teaching profession different today. So coming to the next, which obviously brings me,
It
June, to
is
the next
full-time
thing.
job. You like it or you don't like it, it is.
Yes. Okay, I lost your voice for a few seconds. Okay, so the next point that obviously
Yeah,
comes
sorry,
that
Shauna, there was a lapse. So could you just repeat that? Yes.
no, that's fine. I heard it
Yes.
clearly. So why is the teaching profession different? We learned those points from June. Second thing which comes up is that because the teaching profession is little bit different, there has to be a significant characteristics of a teacher, which obviously would be different from those days which we were learning, or maybe
Absolutely.
the new century is adapting to that. So if you can just let us know what are the significant characteristics of a teacher, keeping in conversation with the last point, that is how teaching profession is different.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking me these questions. You know, whenever we talk about teachers' characteristics, we would first say, oh, love for children, a love for teaching. I'm not going to negate those, but now it's slightly different. It's compassion that comes. Now, compassion is that I don't know how people interpret, but compassion is that how can I make a difference? Right? So, how is like my presence in the classroom would make a difference to my learners? And that has to come from within. No textbooks can teach you how to be compassionate. Okay? So, ask yourself, are you compassionate enough? Now, when it comes to passionate, yes, but as you said, passion I have now, and maybe a few months down the line or 1 year down the line, my passion can change. However, I look at it in a different way. I say, okay, I am passionate, but to have dispassionate is also very important. So when I say dispassionate means when I'm creating something in the classroom, let's say I'm experimenting something, I should be dispassionate enough to let go and to move forward. So when you have the zeal of moving forward, like, okay, this is what I have now, that's fine. But tomorrow I'm interested in something else, but pertaining to the same thing, what I am doing, fine. So you have to be passionate and dispassionate. Like you can't be literally into one thing, like, oh, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? I need to do something out of it. So don't be too hard on yourself. You should be passionate enough to bring a change and dispassionate enough, as in when you're creating something new, you can let go that, and you can again renew yourself to create something new again. This is very important. Okay. The next I would say is that you have to also have the capacity to know whatever you're teaching, the knowledge. You can't discount the knowledge. Okay. So it is not that you have to, literally say everything in the classroom, but you should have the knowledge for yourself. Like tomorrow, if somebody asks you why, then you should be able to answer. So that in depth, a bit more, going that extra mile is very important for yourself. So I would say to keep yourself updated, do that, free reading, keep that your excavation on, like, keep mulling over something which need not be directly related what you're teaching, but it's always good to have that extra knowledge. That really helps, and I'm telling you this from my experience, because knowledge is never wasted. Okay, you can always plug it in. And the next I would say, oh my god, everybody knows that patience. I think no other profession will test your patience the way this profession would do. And this profession also gives you unlimited opportunities to lose it, just like that. And I don't discount the fact that we are humans. Okay, so there is also a capacity. I have my capacity, and after that I might just like a boom. But before you go, you explode, you need to really take care of yourself, and you need to know where to cut things out before it explodes. So along with patience, you need to have that judgment, so that you don't lose control, because when you lose control, everything is out of control. Okay, so that's that, whether you're teaching young learners, whether you're
Yes,
dealing with
that's true.
adults, right? Yeah, so that people management, children management, micromanagement, kind of will come in. Again, you being human, it's air. Okay, it's just it's air for humans. So even if something of that kind happens, you're being human, right? So we are not perfectionists. You also have to do damage control. Now, the damage control may not be necessarily from your end, but yes, you have to have that firefighting skill and the damage control, skill as well. However, another thing, whatever you are preaching in the class, don't just preach so that people, be at awe of you, that wow. No, that wow factor only comes when you are keeping your own word, as in you're practicing what you're preaching. So let's say you read something, okay? Just for the sake of it, don't just deliver in the classroom if you don't believe that. If you have not lived up to, that expectation, or if you have not personally have experienced, only when you have that experience, you automatically have that natural conviction. And that natural conviction is very important for today's teacher. So when the teacher is there, the teacher should know why I am doing this, okay, and what is required, and how can I deal with it, and how can I make it better. Okay, you need to follow your own words. So practice what you're preaching, and please, keep cultivating knowledge. So that would be, let's say, your knowledge bar should always go up, not necessarily always with degrees or anything, but have do a workshop, attend seminars, read something, go through a blogs. These help. These totally help. So I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. This reminds me of the famous, proverb which your words actually reminded me, that to err is to human, or to err is to human, and to forgive is divine. So that actually brings us to that part. So we are all human beings, so we can err. And as a teacher, I think you're doing a divine job. That is, you're forgiving everybody. So the most important key point which comes into this is that what are the significant characteristics of a teacher? What June taught us is that other than compassion, passion, in-depth understanding, and what you teach is what you preach, some kind of a philosophy. It is the zeal to keep moving forward. So until you believe in yourself, you cannot teach and you cannot either preach. And beyond that, most important is to zeal to move forward. Well, June, while talking about this, I would say I went a little bit nostalgic, remember of my school days of those teachers whom I can never forget. And even today, whatever we are, I think it is true for every human being. We really go back to our school days, or even our teachers are dead or alive. What is the significant role, or what really they have contributed to us? Not only in terms of subjective knowledge, that is one part, but definitely as a
Yeah.
human being, what I am today. I thank my school in Navanalanda, which is around 5 kilometers from here. And even while passing down one evening, I used to stare to those buildings, which has now formed in a huge manner. Lot of new teachers, lot of new students, but there I am, maybe 25 years back, standing there with shorts and pants and remembering those. So
Right.
that brings us to the next point, that what would we consider to be the role of a teacher in a student's life? Now, what I would like to, before asking this question, those who are joining late, maybe I would just like to tell that we are in conversation with a very important topic, that teachers' reflection. June has been inspiring us with a lot of thoughts. So what we have done with what is teaching profession different today, we have got the key points. Based on that, how is the characteristic, significant characters of the teacher, and obviously those characteristics would lead to the third point, which is the role of a teacher. What would be the role of a teacher in terms of a student's life?
Shaunak, before I reply to this or I answer this question, that what is the role of a teacher, the best answer is given by the teacher themselves. They need to ask themselves, what is my role? My question to all the teachers here, okay, the ones who are already into teaching profession for years, the aspiring teachers, mainly who are into teaching, in teaching classroom, offline, online. Have you ever asked yourself, what is your role? Or is it the role that has been just carved by your school or your organization? That's about it. So I think I have a doubt if people really ask this question to themselves. And that is why I feel you and me are here in this show, that teachers, you need to start questioning yourself. Whatever you are doing, are you doing it from the bottom of your heart? Are you doing it for the heck of doing it? Or whatever you have done, is it contributing to your life as well? Is your life moving? Because it's very important that your life moves, that you evolve, because if you don't evolve, nothing evolves. If you don't change, nothing changes around you. So with the word change, I would say the first very important role is to change lives. Okay, to change life, you need to change, bring change within yourself, and then you are capable of changing others. So when I say change, for better, okay, how are you contributing in changing that learner's life? And it can be from any perspective, not from just scoring high points or high scores in the classroom. That is not how we define someone's intelligence, right? So as in Asian College of Teachers, we also say that teach and touch lives, right? So our organization also believes in touching lives. And yeah, so you need to touch, and you can touch in many ways. You can touch by simply offering, let's say, love for learning, or zeal for learning something, or even to want to know about a subject. Or is it towards life, or anything towards family, towards friend? That is one. Next is when you are bringing the change in your learners for better, those learners, everything, all of us are contributing to the society. And that is why I feel teachers are absolutely essential in changing lives. Yeah, I think I'm back.
Yes, yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, I think that was there. Yeah. So, as I said, coming back to the contribution, that as a human, it is our responsibility to give back something to the society. So, whatever
Right.
talent, gift you have, and that's why maybe you've chosen this profession that is not just for yourself. If you're not giving back to the society, then your cycle is not complete. Okay, so yes, so teachers, you have to be a contributor. So whatever you're contributing, your learners will be contributing in the society, and you need to see if they are making that meaningful contributions. Okay, so you are that
Right.
source, right? And the next is that you have to be the role model, as in you, when you know, when we talk about a leader doesn't instruct, hey, do this, do that. No, leader leads with exemplification. So I would, I will lead my life by an example. If I don't do it, why would people follow me? So I need to first exemplify, and therefore, if somebody looking up to you as a role model or not, that is not in your control. In your control is that you are giving a good amount of examples, and you are practicing what you're preaching, you're living by the examples, and I tell you, they will look up to you as a role model. They will. And this reminds me, just the batch which I've completed, Shaunok, the recent TEFL Kolkata batch. I was so overwhelmed when my one of my trainees said that she's like 27, 28 years of age. I'm not taking her name here. And she said, I'm 28, and June, I've never had a role model ever in my life. And she's from an academic background. And she said, today I found a role model. And I did not know how to react to that statement, because I felt that was a gift. That was a gift that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. And that is what you are, a social contributor, as in how your contribution is shaping up the society through your learners. Okay, and last but not the least, you have to be that change, a constant change.
Absolutely. So that kind of a feedback from the TEFL batch actually, for the viewers, it actually shows how important a teacher is and what is the role. So we are almost at the middle, or I would say we are almost done half of the discussion of
Yes.
today's show. So my next question would be that how can a teacher have a positive impact on the students? I understand from the examples that you have given, and you have variety of experience both nationally, internationally. So I would request you to frame in a few points that we all know that there should be a kind of a impact. Otherwise, I mean to say, how do we remember the teachers of our school or even our college days? But if you can, summarize with what are the most significant features and what would be, the positive impact that would make on the students.
The first thing which comes to my mind, which I have been practicing as a facilitator and a trainer, is I want to know my learner. I have to be a little interested in their world. Okay, not just walking into the classroom. I do my job, I do it best, and I don't care after that whether they are actually imbibing or not, or something bothering or not. Definitely I do make these observations. All right, but ideally also, if I just come, I preach and I check the assignments, and I just check that, okay, are you clear with your understanding? I'm still doing my job. Nobody has to say anything about that. But that extra empathy, okay, is everything all right with you? Would you like to have a word with me? I'm available. Okay, if you don't want to be vocal about it, no problem, you can write letters. And again, like, I have been receiving letters, my trainees have been writing that extra note in their journals, and I've been getting that on and off, in mostly in all my training, that, June, a special note for you. Okay, because I encourage them. Not everybody can be vocal. You don't have to share with everyone in the classroom. So yes, empathy. The moment you tell them, you give the message, I'm here. Okay, you will see they are walking up to you. So that's that. Next is, you don't have to be serious about everything, but you have to be a little careful also when you want to make them laugh. So sense of humor is fine, but with a little bit here and there, if things go wrong, then it can backfire. So bring in that laughter, but you have to be, and you have to be really sure that you don't really crack jokes that can be culturally insensitive, or somebody can take it personally. So you have to be very careful, but it's very important to bring an element of laughter in the classroom, right? So you have to have that funny, but I think that is something, you have it or you don't have it, and if you want to acquire it, then do it judiciously. Okay, so that's very important. Next is, you need to keep on reinventing yourself, Shanak. So when you're doing something, the only way you can keep yourself interested is that, okay, I've been doing this in all my classes. Let me I'll have to still teach the same thing, but let me do it differently. What can happen? It can either give me a great result, or it can give me a lesson that no, I should go back to my old ways, and that's fine. That's okay, right? So creativity is very important. You have to, keep on reinventing yourself. That's very, very important. Okay. Um, I will not say that, hey, be positive, positive, positive. People are tired of listening to this word. Be positive. I look at it in a different way. I look at it in this way that if something is not happening right, then there is also a message for you. Okay. And if something is happening right, then it's great for you. So, in both the ways, let's have an outlook that in both the perspectives, because I have seen like people say, oh, I need to be positive, not so June to be positive. So I said, check that word, check that. Try positive, but let's just focus on our outlook. So if things are not working, then ask yourself, okay, why it's not working? Okay, so I take my lesson not to be repeated, and if it is working for me, thank you, God. I'm going to make it a repertoire, and I'm going to keep repeating this to make a bigger success. So the attitude is very important. The attitude is very important. Okay. Also, you have to know your principles, the value, right? You have your certain principle, and you have to be, adhere to it,
Yeah, I
so that
was
people.
just willing to ask you that question only. That we have learned a lot about teaching values, integrity, honesty. So, what would you term in terms of teaching values?
New terms. Sorry, I lost you in between again because of the internet.
No, I
Yes,
was
Shauna, come
just
again. You
thinking to
said
ask
you were
you this
about.
question. Yeah, I was just thinking to ask
Yes.
you this question that we heard a lot of teaching values, yeah, teaching values, morals, ethics, honesty, etc. So, what would you term
Yeah.
as teaching
Yeah.
values?
Okay. So teaching values. Let me ask you one thing, Shauna. So when you hear the word value, okay, teaching value, what is it that comes to your mind if I ask you this question? What do you think a teacher should be known for? Like if you are the teacher,
I
what will
think
you consider as a value?
I think for the most important, what the teaching's values is that how do you shape up the person's future to be a good human being beyond everything. Then comes all those values in terms of education, etc. I to be what would be as portrayed to be he or she is a good human being. I think that is the most important value a teacher should inculcate within a student.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Spot on. So you have already answered that question, Shaunak. So when I talk about, or we talk about teacher, what should teacher value? Okay. They should value the, the vessel. I call it a vessel. The teacher is a vessel, and the teacher is catering to other smaller vessels. Okay. So the value is you need to also take care of the vessel. So if you have all this broken vessel, too full of vessel, right, you need to see that the vessels are in good shape, and not every now and then they're like falling apart. And especially if they're made of ceramic, you have to handle it with care, right? So if I have all the
Okay.
ceramic vessels in my classroom, so I need to ensure that whatever I'm doing, I do it with care. So it comes is care. Now, it might sound like, oh, this sounds like a big talk. No, it's not. Every day is not a Sunday for me. Okay. I also have my days where I have to have my family issues, teachers have health issues, so on. We go through everything. Our schools are not responsible for family issues, responsibility. Yeah, I'm back.
Yes.
I was like out of the studio because of the slow network. Yeah. So coming back to that, taking care, like it's not a big word that I'm saying. But if I have taken some responsibility, I have to ensure that unless and until I'm not falling into pieces, my learners are not responsible for whatever is going there in my life. However, if your student teacher relationship, that bond is strong, they cooperate to an extent which is beyond your imagination. So when they look up to
Absolutely.
you, so that relationship. So that is what value is for me, that I need to value in totality. I need to value my profession. I need to value what I'm doing in the class. I need to value my learners. But most importantly, I need to value myself. Okay. I need to value
Absolutely.
myself. So if I don't give myself a
So
value, how can I give value to anything else?
absolutely. So thanks for all the points that you mentioned. I think we don't have any questions, so I would just like to summarize today's discussion and do let me know if I'm going wrong.
Well,
So we are
Shaunak,
in
sorry to interrupt you, but then can we ask, because I can't see the audience, you can, but is it like,
no,
can
I
we
don't
ask?
think we have any. No, we don't have any question. Otherwise, it would have reflected in the comment section. So currently, there
Right.
is no one is asking any question. So we were in conversation. We are okay. Kanta has told that just a wonderful session as usual. Asian College of Teachers, ACT family. My whole world is a family. Thank you very much to teachers. Next session awaited. So that was a kind of a compliment to you and to the entire ACT family
Thank
from
you,
Kanta.
Kanta. She's always
Yeah,
full of compliments.
she is always there to support us. So we are in conversation with June talking about our teachers' reflective journey. So we learned about why is teaching profession different today. Most important is that we should understand it is a full-time profession and it is inspiring the learners. Second, she talked much about significant characters, and the key point to take away would be the zeal to move forward. Third, we learned that what would be the role of a teachers beside all those positive attitude, etc. Most important, what we believe is teach and touch lives. Apart from that, how can a teachers have a positive impact would be the empathy, sense of humor, a communication skill, and a creativity. And lastly, what are the teaching values is that most importantly as a teacher, I or you need to value ourselves and then only we can create a value to the others. So
And
that was
value your
all for today.
profession and learners. That is also important.
Yes, also important, right? So thank you, June, for joining us. It was
Thank you,
indeed a great
Shaunak.
session. We look forward to much more sessions like this. So thank you from the entire ICT family for your busy schedule and
Thank you,
your,
Asian College of
I know
Teachers.
the
As always,
type of yeah hectic life that you have been undergoing. We all pray for things to get good on your end. We pray from the entire ACT family to the Almighty God to, get
Thank you.
things
The fight is
nice
still
and
on.
smooth sailing. Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
fight is still on. So it was June with us, and this is Shaunak signing off from YouTube live session of Asian College of Teachers. We'll be promising you back to come back with yet another session, and a heartfelt thanks and sincere gratitude to June for taking a time to
Thank you
attend this
so much.
session.
Wishing a
Thank you very
great
much.
weekend to all the audience and to you and to everyone in the Asian College of Teachers. Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.